Oh, welcome all you creepsters of the night. This is GregaMortis with the Creepture Feature Horror Show, just reading my new copy of Horror Hound magazine. Love this magazine, highly recommend if you don't have any issues of Horror Hound magazine, be sure to purchase these at the website, thehorrorhound.com, and check out their conventions. A little introduction myself. I am GregaMortis, co-host of the Creepture Feature Horror Show.com, along with Dr. Butcher, who is not able to be with us today, but we'll be having him on a YouTube blog pretty soon. Basically, what we are is a weekly, sometimes bi weekly podcast show where we talk about anything that deals with horror, whether it be movies, TV, comics, music, you name it, we try to cover it. Huge fans, of course, of the Universal monster movies of the day, your Draculas, Frankensteins, but also huge fans. Myself, of course, would be Halloween, 1978, 79, John Carpenter. May see some of my tattoos here from Jamie Lee Curtis to the Pumpkin and Michael Myers. So, huge fan of Halloween, but also the 80s slasher flicks. Some other movies that I highly recommend would be the newest feature would be the Italian zombie movie, directed and written by a good friend of ours now, Thomas Berdinski, and we'll be talking with Thomas pretty soon on an upcoming podcast. We're also had several interviews in the past with legendary David Hess on one, who was star of course, Last House on the Left and Edge of the Park and many other movies he's been in recently with Smash Cut, starring David Hess and Sasha Grey. Also, Drive-In Horror Show with Michael Neal and Greg Anderson. We've interviewed Michael Neal on the podcast before, and we try to keep everything energized, try to give you a fresh look at a podcast interview. We don't want to bore you to death, so hopefully we recommend, and hopefully you will come check us out at www.thecreepture, Creepture, featurehorrorshow.com. Also check out some of our blogs we put up. We try to give you a current, up-to-date kind of feel of horror movies, but to be honest, there's not a lot of good horror movies I feel out there, so we sort of revolve around the older movies and try to give people and fans out there that may not be familiar with some of the older Hammer films and whatnot. We try to give you an opportunity to get a take on the older movies and maybe get you back interested in the good things of horror movies of the past. So, you can definitely see that in our podcast and hear it. We also like to try to put different bands on each week as we do podcasts. So we try to do that, try to keep things interested. I would love to have you join us. We're available on iTunes as a download, totally free. Go on the podcast section of iTunes, type in Creepture Feature. Subscribe to us. That way, every time we post a new podcast, it'll automatically download so you won't miss the episode. Little things we're going to be doing. We're going to try to venture into some other YouTube features and maybe doing some horror hosting and that. So be sure to check us out regular and become a regular listener. Send us emails, comments, let us know you're listening. I think I'm going to go ahead and end here and get back to my Horror Hound magazine, where I love to keep up with the update list and that. And we'll be posting some new blogs later on YouTube, so be sure to check us out. And like I always like to say, help keep horror alive. This is GregaMortis.